Gonna be the last girls at the party. It's VGC, the video game podcast, episode 154, with me, Jordan Midler, Chris Scullion, and Andy Robinson. This week it's our yearly predictions game, and we're all back together. But first, how's it going, folks? Andy, you were supposed to be here last week, but you were absolutely afflicted by extreme lurgy. How are you doing now?
Do you know what? It was the most useful illness. If you're going to be ill, you might as well be ill on New Year's Day. And then my dry January, which I'm not having actually, but my diet January started early. I didn't leave bed for a couple of days, but it also saved me from getting on a coach and going to Wolverhampton on Saturday. My dad sounded like he'd won like a small scratch card or something, you know, when he actually saw what the result was.
Yeah.
Would have saved him an 8-hour round trip.
8 hours? Jesus Christ.
If you're on a coach,
I suppose.
They're not exactly speedsters.
Yeah. The old, I don't miss the old coach to Alton Towers that we got in high school. From Paisley to Alton Towers, and a coach. Honestly, we left at like 9 o'clock the night before and just about got there for the thing opening. It was brutal. Chris Scullion, you've got the lurgy this week. It's all spinning round.
Yeah, I'm very slowly, just about recovering from it, but I'm a bit annoyed. Unlike Andy, my body decided to pick the worst time to make me sick. I was like, give myself an extra week off just to kind of recharge a bit, and then my body's like, no, get fucked. But it's all right. These things happen. Better that than being sick and working. So it could have been worse. So
it's bloody snowing behind you.
I know. It's that's what it is. It was taking a while.
Like seasonal background.
Yeah, it's taken a while because I've been reading BBC about like half the country's absolutely devastated, and this is the first.
We've just got like horizontal wind.
Yeah,
which is the usual type of wind. That vertical wind.
That wind that drives you down into the ground.
It's just it's been frosty here, but as far as I'm aware, it's not at the time of recording. I don't think it's currently snowing. I have all my blinds shut anyway because I can't let my family and the rest of the animals know what day it is.
See what's on your screen.
Yeah. But I hope it doesn't snow because Scotland, despite being a country that always gets snow, handles it absolutely atrociously for no reason whatsoever. I'm
looking out the window concerned about driving to Glasgow tomorrow for the old wrestling. That's going to be fun. I don't have snow tyres.
Isn't it like a red storm warning or something?
I'm
sure I read that. Like the police have advised do not travel.
It sounds like the South England's getting that more though. I don't know. I need to look at it.
Just nothing going on here other than a bit of horizontal wind.
Some of these random like islands off the coast of Scotland and England are getting really battered, like danger to life threats and stuff like that. But I mean, what have they got apart from like one church and a Tesco Express? So there's not really much damage that can be done. I'm
just peeved at the unreliable BBC weather who predicted slush for today, and it looks significantly thicker than slush at the moment.
Although, I mean, what do you need to make slush? You need a decent snowfall and then rain. So if it starts pissing it down later, then it could be slush city.
I've called them out too early.
Yeah, you have, as usual. BBC proved right once again. When my greatest and worst snowy memory was the news that sorry, I've just had a text there where we're talking about snow from a relative who lives close to me being like, what's going on? Why is the police everywhere? Sorry, investigate that later. That's really thrown me for a loop.
You didn't shut the blinds early enough.
I know. No, like, you really, really love yourself. You look at that podcast art all the time. When we were in school, the thing to do, especially the Neds, would be get a snowball, put a massive rock in it or a couple of chuckies and seal the back of the snowball and throw them at people. And let me tell you, I've seen good boys get knocked down by a snowball like that. It was not good at all. Or you would snowman somebody where you would drag them to the ground and everyone around them would kick the snow on top of them, burying them alive essentially. The cruelty of children. These days it's just TikTok. But yeah, it's good to be back. First proper week back this week. Although it seems like a lot of the games industry just hasn't bothered coming back this week.
Yeah, I don't think anyone bothers coming back. They're all doing a Scullion, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
Famously lazy bastard Chris Scullion.
Listen, I've been doing my work in the background. I'm working on the old next playground. So
yeah,
watch this space.
Have you put it in the bin yet? Played Fruit
Literally,
Ninja for 5 minutes?
No, I've only dabbled very, very briefly with it because I'm not obviously in the mood for jumping about like a fud just now. But over the weekend it'll be getting rinsed and then full verdict next week on the site at some point.
Nice, very nice indeed. Any drinks? I'm just rocking a white Monster this morning.
I'm on the full fat iron brew because
recovery.
Yeah.
Andy, how do Monsters figure into your healthy January? Are they on the banned list?
They well, a Monster's like a special treat. If I need a bit of afternoon energy, then I might afternoon delight. I might call one in, airdrop it in like a care package
from a drone, like in Worms.
There is a really important development that we were made aware of, that 3 new Monster flavors coming up soon, Chris. We've got Ultra Punk Punch, we've got Strawberry Shot Monster Energy, and Voodoo Grape Juice Monster. So we'll have to see if
I
we
got
can
excited
get a hold
about
of
the Voodoo Grape, but that's America only, isn't it? The Americans seem to love their grape, but we never get it.
Pound Basket in Johnston will probably have them for £7 a can. But if you don't want to spend £7 on a can of Voodoo Grape, you can spend £7 on patreon.com/videogameschronicle to support independent games journalism and the latest breaking news from the police activity in Paisley. Lots of stuff up there, lots of stuff continuously going. Next week, you will get VGC's Guide to Japan. We've already had some excellent questions over on patreon.com/videogameschronicle, where I will be putting it to the panel of Andy, Chris, and Mr. Japan himself, Shinzo Abe. No, Pete Donaldson. He'll be on the podcast with us to chat all about the country that they seem to go to every 5 minutes. Story number 1. Xbox Developer Direct coming later this month with Fable, Forza, and Game Freak. The show will take place on January 22nd with new looks at Forza Horizon 6, Fable, and Beast of Reincarnation, the new game from Pokemon developers Game Freak. Chris Scullion,
hello.
You've got to assume that this is the big reveal for Forza 6, since the initial one was kind of just like, ho ho ho, it's in Japan. I want big, flashy gameplay. I want someone crashing through a window in Ikebukuro, brother.
Aye, this will be the one. I'm excited about this. It's basically Forza and Fable are the 2 big Xbox games I've got my eye on, so it'll be good to see them both. But yeah, because obviously the Forza Horizon 6 reveal was literally just a kind of pre-rendered, just a pass. Like, what was it, inside a house or something? And it just said we're coming to Japan, and that was it. A bit like the
just a boy sitting in a Ford Anglia going, "We're coming to Japan. We'll see you later."
Just a guy sitting in a cafe. But so I'm really excited about that one, and more just to see what they do with the open world, because I'm presuming it'll be like the other Forza Horizon games where it's based on the real world set, and there will be one-to-one recreations of bits of it, but then they'll kind of Frankenstein's monster it and kind of join them together, which is why in Forza Horizon 4 you could drive off Arthur Street in Edinburgh and land in the Lake District.
It'll be like, you drove through Akihabara, you just round the corner there, Mount Fuji, mate. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I think it'll be. I hope the world is massive. Like I really want them to kind of spread it out. I don't want this to be the thing that I'm really sick of in the Horizon games is the Horizon Festival concept, and that lasted going, "Hey Jordan, there's a race over there. You can go and race this cool Lamborghini." I don't want that. I want something totally different as the kind of wrapper around it.
Maybe like a cafe.
Oh, very nice. Now we're talking. A maid cafe. Keep it culturally appropriate. The the history of the hot hatchback by some cat
Hi,
girl.
Jordan. Did you know the doors on a Honda Civic 2007?
I see you've got a Toyota Yaris Cross parked outside. Would you like to read a Wikipedia entry about it?
Do you remember when they had that obsession with putting the Top Gear guys in it, and they would have Jeremy Clarkson doing an analysis of the Warthog? It was like, the Warthog is the greatest Master Chief vehicle in the world. And then they were like, that's probably not the greatest the greatest way to spend our money. Andy, as Mr. Japan, is this? You've got to be playing this. You'll at least spin through it and be like,
yeah, I like playground games. Yeah. I'm looking forward to both of these. Forza Horizon's the best Xbox game.
He's showing a face.
I'm really looking forward to Fable as well. Like, I think I reviewed every Fable when they came out, because it usually wouldn't be my genre these days, like a big old time sink RPG. But I'm pretty sure I reviewed all of them. So I do have that. I've got that connection. I think the most important thing about this game was nailing the humor, and it just seems like they've absolutely done it. Like, kind of getting the cast of Channel 4, kind of comedians to kind of join this game is the smartest thing they could have done. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be quite interested to see whether they can, kind of like deliver both of them, because obviously, Fable is them spinning up a second team, which, is not easy. I mean, we've seen from how long it's taken. I mean, when did they announce that game? 2019?
Yeah, years ago.
Am I making that up?
No.
So...
2020, sorry, it was 2020, just to be for the record.
So probably not a long time in AAA terms, but they have pushed it back a good couple of times, I think. So it's not easy to do that. I mean, you look at studios like Naughty Dog, right? They've tried and failed to kind of do that in the past, because what ends up happening is, during different production phases where you're like, oh, we're going to work on these games, we're going to have different artists over there, different. When a game needs, the most important stretch of any game development is shipping it, right? It's that last kind of 6 months to a year. Everyone kind of gets pulled off. So I would be impressed and surprised if they can deliver like 2 fully formed games this year, because you'd imagine that Forza Horizon 6 needs to ship. They're pulling people off of Fable to do that. So it kind of suggests that if they're able to pull that off, and they've got the the right personnel in, etc., that'll be impressive. So I'd be keeping an eye on that, whether anything's half baked.
Yeah. Just for the benefit of anyone who's listening on audio and who were a bit disappointed that there was no reaction to that, myself and Jordan did try to hide a smile when Andy said that during development everyone gets pulled off. We thought it was crass to make a comment, but we were trying our best not to. I mean, there's perks of the job, and there's perks.
It was crass to make a comment a minute ago, but not.
no. But I just feel bad about people listening to the podcast. Go, well, you were on a flow. I didn't want to interrupt you. You were making good points, salient points.
I think for me, I think it would be really exciting if Forza is way more complete than anyone thinks, and they're like, it's out in like April or something like that, because you don't need a big massive run up for a Forza game in Japan. You just go, it's a Forza game in Japan, like sorted, and then you do Fable as your. They're probably waiting for a Fable date to see if GTA gets delayed, but I could see Fable being there late in the year.
It's interesting because on paper they're pretty different, but they share a lot of kind of similarities in that they're both massive open world games. And Playground's already shown that they can nail making a really big open world that looks really photorealistic and has loads of interesting kind of separate areas that are distinct. So in that respect, I'm not concerned about Albion, how it's going to look and everything. It's just like Andy says, you're still basically bringing an entirely new team to do an entirely different genre of game. So how's the combat going to feel? How's the dialogue? How's the branching dialogue going to work? How's that all going to get sorted? Because it's kind of new to them. But certainly in terms of, I've got no concerns about exploring the world. I think the world will look amazing. It's just everything else.
I wonder, because those Fable games weren't long by modern standards at all. They were like solid RPGs that you could get through in a decent amount of time, which I feel like there's been a reflex back to, like games like Outer Worlds 2 and stuff like that. They don't take a million years to beat, which I
like
think,
Avowed.
Yeah, coming soon to PS5, the definitive edition. I think that's kind of where Fable needs to be at. As Andy said, like, I'm not worried. The humor is very like, how's your father? But also, I think that, especially from what I've heard about this game for years, it was just a case of, let's just get a hit list of everyone we would possibly want and see if they would all do it, and they seem to have got a lot of them.
And they really need to lean heavier on that this time, because when the previous Fables came out, we weren't swimming in a sea of open world action RPGs. Like since then, you think of how many IPs have launched and are all kind of battling for people's attention these days. So the humour is what stands it apart from the rest of them. So they really need to kind of lean on that and get it right, I think.
I think I've told this story before, but in Fable 2, I believe, there was an achievement for getting some sort of chicken hat. You had to like kick a chicken while you were wearing a chicken hat, and the way you got the chicken hat was you linked your Xbox Live account to Fable's website. However, my pal, biggest Fable fan I've ever known, did this, made the cardinal internet mistake of putting his real age in, and thus it cut him out from ever getting that achievement until he actually turned 16 or 18 or whatever it was. And he tried everything. He was like, I think eventually he just started a new profile to get the 1,000 achievement points on it because it made him so angry. But yeah, that's my memory of Fable. I loved Fable 2. Fable 2 is a fantastic game. It's really, really magical. Didn't love Fable 3 as much, but I feel like
I'm the Fable 3 defender. I liked Fable 3.
That was
I think it.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was a bit half baked, but I think the concept was perfect. Like being the king, because it was about the consequences of your decisions and stuff, right? And it just made it a little bit more granular, the impacts and stuff like that. I always feel like Peter Molyneux's games he's kind of like working them out as he goes along. And then 3 kind of like felt like it kind of did 2 a bit, but it just feels like it could have done with like another year, really. But no, I'm really looking forward to that one. To Playground Games, they got to be the best English developer right now, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Am I missing anyone blatantly obvious?
The people that did Thank Goodness You're Here. Panic, is that what they're called? That's Playground.
I think just critically, commercially. I mean, Forza Horizon prints money as well.
I suppose it also depends on what kind of genre you're in. I suppose some people might argue Codemasters are still in with a shout, but if
it's so funny as well, because we were like we were sat at like some awards do, Golden Joysticks or something, like when we started Platonic with the X-Rare guys, because the big boss at the time of Playground was on the same table. And obviously, he just started Playground with ex-Codemasters guys, and it was very much like sharing, tips and stuff. And it's funny looking at their trajectory was a bit bigger than ours.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy days.
Although there's been no Forza Horizon statues discovered in Indonesia 3 years after the fact, so I mean,
no, there have not.
There's a proper legacy. Chris,
what's this Game Freak pish all about?
Beast of Reincarnation. I have absolutely no idea. This is their thank you for making a Pokemon. You can make something else and then come back to Pokemon, like with Tembo and Pocket Card Jockey and stuff like that. Interested to see what it's like, but yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Sometimes that works.
It's not going to be great, is it?
No. Sometimes that works, but it seems like it works when they like to do kind of weird games like Pocket Card Jockey, like you say. What was I'm looking up the list. There was a 3DS
Tembo and the
Rhythm.
Badass Elephant.
No, it was a Harmonite. It's an amazing 3DS rhythm platformer, but these are all kind of small games. This looks pretty grandiose, and I'm not
the boy
sure.
that's directing this was a combat director on Pokemon, so it'll be interesting to. I just hope you turn a corner and fight a big monster that's a big set of keys. Before we move on from this, obviously there's been chat about Forza launching later on PS5. They're not really being specific about it. How long do you think this period is, and do you think Fable's day and date, Chris?
Fable is day and date.
Fable's day and date. I'm hearing.
That's what I've been told.
Fable's day and date.
Chris, I mean, I don't know. That's. I mean, I know it's coming to PS5.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
I mean, day and date. I would imagine that it's day and date. I mean,
Stephen Fry himself.
But those are sorts of details. This is where insiders misstep, right? Those are the sorts of details that can be changed a week before or a day before. The other stuff is kind of like a bit more set in stone. Yes, it's coming to PS5. I'd expect it to be day and date because I know they've been targeting PS5 for a while. Forza, I mean, I don't know the full story of Forza, but the explanation I was told by someone who was there was like it just wasn't ready. I don't know how true that is, because I mean, it's going to be absolutely massive, but that game would be absolutely massive if it's launching on everything day one, right?
Yeah.
You kind of think that's a bit of a hindrance for them to be launching for every will in the world. I mean, even fucking Xbox stalwarts are starting to drift away from playing on the console now. I mean, you'll have a humongous PC launch, but PS5, I mean, you look at like Indiana Jones, it did so well when it came out on PS5 afterwards. I imagine they'll do their best to get that out as soon as they can.
Yeah. I suppose this could be all outdated information, and at the developer director actually like, oh no, it's all together. Like, since there's
it could happen. I mean, that's Xbox's biggest game, right?
Yeah.
Its biggest traditional premium game.
One of the benefits of this break period is that you don't check the comments so much, because you just switch off from it. I did the Forza preview, one of our 2026 previews, which you can still catch up on videogameschronicle.com. And I didn't realise that apparently there was a massive shitstorm over my Forza preview because I said it was the end of an era for Xbox, which absolutely is, because it's been the end of an era for Xbox for like a year or two now, but apparently me saying that was the equivalent of me saying Xbox was dead, which absolutely wasn't.
They were saying you're anti-Xbox.
They were saying that I was saying Xbox. They didn't read it, because they never read it. The point was literally just Forza Horizon has been, in my opinion, one of the best.
You're talking about the social media comments, right?
Yeah, I know.
No, that's fine. That was a question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's not patrons.
No.
Sorry. It was deal breaker Jay. It was deal breaker Jay.
It was social media.
I
thought you were being facetious. But yeah, it was a social media comment. But it is more the fact that Halo coming to Xbox, Halo coming to PlayStation is from a
not
brand,
a big deal.
Is a big deal in a brand sense. But it's Forza Horizon being confirmed before release.
It's their biggest game.
Yeah,
their biggest games are Call of Duty, Minecraft, Forza Horizon.
And I know 5 is already on PS5, but that was obviously after the fact. The fact that pre-release they're saying this is coming to PlayStation, for me, is the end of an era for Xbox. It's not necessarily a bad thing. If this keeps them alive, if this keeps Microsoft's interest in gaming active and doesn't shut down Xbox entirely, which means we get more games out of it, regardless of platform, brilliant. But it does mark the final chapter in this transition period to what's basically a third-party publisher who also makes their own hardware for people who want to use it. I think.
God rest them. Story number 2. The first Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con color variants have been announced, and they're out next month. The Joy-Con 2 Light Purple L and Light Green R controllers will be released on February 12th, which is also the day that Mario Tennis is out, I believe. The controllers are the first time the Nintendo Switch 2 system has deviated from the default light blue and orange Joy-Con. Now, that for folks listening at home, I'd like you to get your Nintendo Switch 2 system out, like I have done here, Nintendo Switch 2. If you take the Joy-Cons off of your Nintendo Switch 2 system for a moment, you'll see that inside the Nintendo Switch 2 system, they bloody painted it blue and orange. So if you buy these new controllers, it's still going to be blue and orange in the inside. Chris Scullion, standards have slipped. Let me tell you. What do you think about this?
I'll tell you what, if Shigsy was in charge, he wouldn't have bloody... I'll be burling. I don't care that much. I'm more disappointed that I'll start caring when the Joy-Cons themselves are a different colour. I'm not into this minimalist kind of a tiny wee slither of colour down the middle. I think it just draws more attention to the fact it's not a clean join.
We've seen D-Brand within hours announced a skin to make it a whole colour.
You surprise me.
Within hours, because obviously everyone. It's funny how people were saying this when like the very first tease of the system, right? When they noticed that.
Yeah, is that our video from the first tease?
Yeah, from the very first video. So it's funny seeing it boil over. As soon as it comes to fruition.
But I don't know.
I desperately need to differentiate between my bloody systems, to be honest. Both my daughters have got a Switch 2. And I put, those like D-Brand, when they send you the screen protectors, they give you like some Joy-Con stickers. So I put them on, and they didn't like them and peeled them off. So no one knows whose Switch is what.
Take that, D-Brand. My nephew's Joy-Con's away for repair. It's the battery doesn't charge on it. So there's
what Joy-Con 2? Really?
The right Joy-Con 2. doesn't charge. So when it's plugged in, it works because the Switch 2 is powering it. But as soon as he unplugs the right Joy-Con to it, it completely dies because there's no battery charge. It's not getting a charge, regardless of what he plugged it into mine, and it still wasn't charging. So
it's full of corrosive acid.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, I'm shocked that as a money spinner, they don't already have like a design lab equivalent. Like I think that's like the most obvious thing in the world. And you do like limited edition shells and all that kind of stuff. But
when you go in the Nintendo store in Japan, certainly the Tokyo one, I don't know about the other ones. When you go to the actual Switch bit where they're selling Switch stuff, they've got this display with the Switch and all the coloured Joy-Cons around it, and it's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. It's like it's like Botticelli couldn't have done
it's
better.
Your Mona Lisa.
I know it pretty much is. I'm like, oh, this is modern art. Ram it, Rembrandt. But it's like for the Switch 2, if they do that at Switch 2, it's just going to be a lot of black Joy-Cons with tiny wee bits of colour. So I'm sure at some point,
I think they'll change them at some point. I think at this point they're trying to differentiate the systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not just as like literally aesthetically,
but
also it looks more grown up, right? It looks like the big boy, the Pro Switch, which is, when it's 450 quid.
Yeah.
They have to position it as. My guess is that the full color ones come out in like 18 months, right? When Switch 1 becomes really like
dies, properly dies. Yeah. Do we go next gen Pokemon?
I was about to say, I think you get an anniversary Pokemon one this year. I would be shocked if you don't.
But even then, will it be like they've done in the past with some where it's still black Joy-Cons, but with like a wee illustration like sketched on the corner, like a wee line drawing on the corner or something?
My prediction, left hand Joy-Con red, right hand blue, and in the Japanese market, the right hand will be green, and on the back it will have like a 25th anniversary kind of thing on it.
A fat Pikachu in the back.
Yeah, something like that, because I've already shown off that kind of stuff. I don't think they'll do it for the new game. I think they will do it like
this is an anniversary.
Yeah, an anniversary one, because they can appeal to kind of a wider berth. And let me tell you, brother, I will be buying it, because I regret not buying the last limited edition Pokemon Switch. But yeah, speaking of the Switch, sales slowed over Christmas, down 35% in the US compared to the Switch 1 launch. That's according to a little indie site called The Games Business, which reports that following a record-breaking launch earlier in the year, Switch 2 sales in the US over the holiday period, November to December, were down around 35% compared with what Switch 1 managed during the same period. It was a similar picture in the UK, where Switch 2 sales for the last 8 weeks of the year were 16% lower than Switch 1 in the same period of its life cycle, according to Nielsen IQ data. However, when sales of the original Switch are included, sales of Nintendo hardware are actually up 7% compared with the same period in 2017. In France, Switch 2 sales in 2025 were over 30% lower than what Switch 1 achieved in its first year, according to TGB, which is a surprise in a market that's typically one of Nintendo's strongest in Europe. The slowing Christmas sales come with the context that the Switch 2 experienced a record-breaking launch, selling over 3.5 million units in just 4 days, and most of them were to Andy Robinson, and over 10 million by September. So far, the console is comfortably outselling its predecessor. Andy, what's factoring into this? Is it because no one has any money and it's quite expensive?
Well, that's definitely one of the factors. Obviously, the Nintendo source quoted in this game business story attributes to like economic issues, the price, and the lack of a big Western game at Christmas. If you're comparing it to Switch 1, not only did it have Breath of the Wild at launch, which was a system seller, it had Mario Odyssey, which came out right before Christmas.
Yeah. What a game, man!
They really did absolutely go for it with Switch 1. I remember at the time hearing that I mean, you got to keep in mind they're coming out of Wii U. It was all or nothing. They're going to being the 3DS company. The kind of the idea, the strategy internally was that they were going to have every franchise represented within the first year. If you go and look at that 2017 to 2018, Switch 1 is mad. The games they brought out, and Switch 2 just so far doesn't have that. I mean, Mario Kart. I mean, is obviously doing great, but it'd be interesting to see how it does now that they've stopped attaching it to the system. perhaps a little bit lukewarm reception to that. I mean, certainly that's how I feel. It seems like a lot of other people feel like that. Otherwise, like, I mean, Donkey Kong was great, but doesn't seem to have broke through to the mainstream. And that's really that's what this story is, really, because Switch 2 has sold phenomenal. It's the best-selling console, fastest-selling console of all time, right? This story doesn't include the Japanese numbers, which are, mad. It's like doubling what Switch 1 did. So it's far, outpacing the original Switch. And part of that is because you can buy one. They're readily available. Interestingly, not readily available in Japan. So perhaps that's why they kind of kept the momentum going over the holiday period. But also it's like, I mean, as you said, like I think it's like $450, right, without a game. So it's like $500 with a game. Sakana, the group that track the US retail market, we had the story last month where it was I think November was the worst on record for consoles since the mid-90s. And it's because the median price of a console was the highest it's ever been. It was like $430 or something like that. Obviously you've seen PS5 and Xbox are, towards the end of their life cycle. The prices have gone up. You could get a PS4 for like $200 with Spider-Man. At this point, that option's just not there. That's why the console that Chris was holding up earlier, the NEX Playground, this weird, Android, family console, which is like $200, it kind of did really well because there's nothing that even Nintendo they're not offering that market anything, right? It's other than, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see them kind of do a Nintendo 2DS style rebrand of Switch 1 because they need to offer families who don't want to or can't spend $500 on a system something. But the other side is that they need to release this. Basically, this shows they're not reaching the mainstream, right? They're not reaching, the families and the mums buying the kids something for Christmas, because you would expect that audience to buy these over Christmas, regardless of they're not going to go and get them in January, first time buyers, right? So then you look at the software, right? I think Nintendo was probably hoping that game chat was going to be something. And it clearly isn't. I think it's a really half-baked feature, game chat. I would genuinely use that, but I'm not going to go and plug a crap USB mic into my Switch. Why on earth does it not have a camera built into it like every device I've used for the last 20 years? Then it would be a decent, half-decent feature. But they desperately need an Animal Crossing, a Ring Fit, those weird games that kind of cut through. And you look at I know Nintendo, a lot of their games you don't know, that you won't know what they are until midway through the year. Where they'll have the big February Direct, they'll have one in June. But you look at the lineup now, and it's like, are any of those games going to cut through? They need some big games, and they need some big games, this year.
The Switch 2 exclusive Pokemon will have a big dent in it because that's the first one that you won't be able to get on the original.
We'll get there eventually. It's a weird situation because I think we keep forgetting it's only like 6 months old yet, 6-7 months old still, which is weird. It does feel like I've said before. It feels like this Christmas was a kind of Switch 1 Christmas as well. Because like I said before, I think the release of the Switch 2 was the trigger that a lot of parents needed to get the Switch 1, because in their mind that becomes the kid one, because that's not the pro one that the pros are, the experienced gamers are getting. Now they've brought out that basically brings the Switch 1 down to kid level. So like my daughter's best pal finally got a Switch for Christmas. It was brilliant because they're walking to school talking about Mario Kart, which who they play as in Mario Kart and stuff like that. I'm like, she's finally got somebody to talk to about games because none of her pals played games before this. So that's nice. But so I get the feeling that maybe in a year or two's time, when Switch is finally like dead, so to speak, then that might when you see the exclusives coming out. I also wonder if backwards compatibility was a kind of a blessing and a curse, because there's less there's less urgency to get a new Animal Crossing out or to get a new what have you out. But if you can already play it on Switch 2, which is why you're getting a lot of these Switch 2 updates instead, which is why you're getting Animal Crossing Switch 2 version instead of a brand new Animal Crossing. I don't know. I wonder if it's nice to get those now.
The development's taken its toll.
Definitely, but
development's taken its toll. They had a lot of Switch 1 games that they could move over with the last console, which they don't now have. Obviously, they're finding the drop elsewhere, with Switch Online and things like that.
Yeah.
But they need, games are hard to make, right? We know this. We're just talking about, kind of Playground and Fable earlier. They need more developers. They need more staff. They're already in the process of doubling the size of their production, kind of building in Japan. It's, that's what I'm hearing, is that they're a little bit concerned about how quickly they can get games out at the moment. And also they're aware that the challenge for Switch 2 now is to try and reach the mainstream. The early adopters, the hardcore, have gone for it. And, that's the next challenge, because it's doing fantastically well now, but Switch 1 really took off, the year 3, year 4. It had the pandemic. I don't think anyone expects Switch 2 to match Switch 1, right? Because they could be the best-selling console of all time. I just think the console market is not what it was now compared to them.
Yeah. It's going to be. At some point, I need to put up my list. I did put the list up from the Switch launch right up to the Switch 2 launch. The Switch did get a big game, first party or third party, every single month through its entire life.
First 18 months was insane.
Yeah. So Nintendo, through the entirety of that system's life, planned that either we're releasing the game or we align it so that we know a big third-party game is coming out to cover for it. Every single month there was something big to play on the Switch right up to the moment it died. And that's the kind of momentum they need to keep going with Switch 2, because with the Switch you could see the entry points when people waited for Smash Brothers, people waited for Pokemon, people waited for I was going to say Mario Kart, but it was pretty close to release anyway. But you know what I mean? People were waiting for their entry points to come in, and that's what Switch 2 needs to. The ARMS, everyone was all in for 1-2 Switch. So stuff like that. I know of thousands of people who are waiting for Excite Truck to turn up before they bite the bullet. So yeah,
naturally, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. My litmus test is a couple of things. My the number one console and game I was asked about in my 8-a-side football group before Christmas was the normal PS5 and GTA 5, because all their sons, all they want to do is play GTA 5 with their pals. That's like the only thing that young kids only play. Roblox, and then when they get slightly older, they play Minecraft, slightly older, GTA 5, and there's nothing else that anyone's interested in.
Speaking of which, I mentioned this on social media earlier this week. A shout out to any developers who are listening. Here's a wee pitch for you. We are rinsing Lego City Undercover just now, me and the kid. She adores that game. The fact you can do a split screen and just drive about the city, and she's like, oh, you sit in the back of the taxi and I'll drive you about, and all this kind of stuff. So we're absolutely loving it. At one point she's like, Daddy, is there another game like this, but it isn't Lego? And I was like, no. There really isn't an open world GTA type game for kids that isn't Lego.
I guess it's understandable, but we only really notice this playing with kids, right? When you go on PlayStation, Xbox and stuff, and you're like, what should we play? And there's like nothing there, to play with an 8-year-old. It's that, I guess it's understandable, because that market's kind of gone to mobile.
Yeah. And it's frustrating because really, there's stuff that kind of is a bit like it. Stray is a bit like it, and Little Kitty Big City, or whatever it was called, is a bit like it. So some of them have like
unless
elements.
You're on Nintendo, people just don't seem to be bothering.
It's just a shame. I'd love another big GTA style game, but it doesn't have killing in it. It's just like a more kind of comedy, almost like a goat simulator, but not shit.
Get it on Sleeping Dogs. That's a proper game. When we come back, the one with Snoop Dogg in it. When we come back, we'll be talking about ridiculous AI patents, the DICE Awards, and going on down to South Park. We'll see you in a minute. And we are back. Remember, if you want ad-free browsing on VGC and extra podcasts, videos, and bonus exclusive content, check out patreon.com/videogameschronicle. Throughout the month of January, we are running a 50% off discount for your first month at our supporter tier. You can check out the website to find out more about that, or just head to patreon.com/videogameschronicle and use the code JAN26 for the discount. Next story. Sony AI patent will see PlayStation games play themselves when players are stuck. As described in patent documents, Ghost Player would see players call down an AI-generated ghost version of a player character, which could either play out the solution to a particular part of a level or complete it entirely.
Imagine if it's actually Ghost from Call of Duty.
Kratos, this is how you do this. That was a bit Ben Starrish.
Eyes up. Stay frosty.
A sidebar, but I was playing Hades over Christmas, and Ben plays one of the big baddies in it who kept kicking my arse. And then when I eventually completed them, I took a picture of me sticking the middle finger up at him in front of the camera. I was like, "Oh, send it to him," and I checked my phone, and it was like 3:30 in the morning. I was like, best not have his phone illuminate in the middle of the night with that. Back to this, for example. If a player was stuck on a puzzle in an Uncharted game, the guide mode would see an AI-controlled Nathan Drake demonstrating the solution before the player did it itself. Hello, I'm Nathan Drake. The complete mode would simply complete the section for the player. Chris Scullion,
hello, Sackboy here. See you stuck.
Hello, my name's Astrobot, and I'm going to complete this level for you. First of all, didn't Nintendo do this a million years ago? Second of all, why does this need to be AI generated?
I was just going to say, just like touch screens and just like motion controls and just like freaking doing a Smash Brothers style game, just like releasing a mini console. This is another example of Sony outright ripping off Nintendo. This is
and doing it better.
This is the Cosmic Guide from Super Mario Galaxy 2, where you could conjure a wee Cosmic Mario who then finishes the level for you. And you would get a bronze star for it instead of a proper star, which means it didn't count against your 200 and whatever it is stars, but at least let you get past the level so you can go on to the next one. So it's old news. It's the news itself is old, but the idea of a game playing itself for you is not the kind of apocalypse that people think it is, because it has existed for nearly 20 years now.
People get their holes in a real bunch about stuff like this. I think some of the stuff adjacent to this that PlayStation have done and not supported well, I think is great. Like in the PlayStation first party games, when you call up the activity cards, if you're like hunting trophies, it'll be like, oh, you just do this, and if you want to go to this part of the map, the Spider-Man games were really good for this. It would be like, oh, here's a side mission you haven't done. Press this button and you just warp right across the map to it, and it'd be like instant. But it's something that they never supported outside of PlayStation first party.
You get that across the board with loads of consoles. It's like, it's annoying because when they launch really cool. I'm not going to get into Snap mode again, but but you get loads of features that consoles introduce first, and you go, that could be cool. Because there's a period where, I don't know if you can still do it on Xbox, when you brought up your achievement list. You could choose a specific achievement, but also that you could choose the achievement and it would bring up trueachievements.com on the kind of browser and tell you give you a guide for that achievement. I don't know if you still do that, but nobody will use that. And again, like the Sony, those kind of guide things that appear. And as soon as they announced that, I was like, nobody's doing that. Or it'll be a feature that hardly any developers use, like group achievements. I don't know if you remember when the Xbox One launched. It was like Dead Rise.
What was the name of that game? What was the name of that game?
Rise.
No, Loco Cycle. That had a big group achievement that unlocked a mad ARG.
So like even like Dead Rising, I'm sure had the Dead Rising 4 or 3, whatever one it was that launched the Xbox One, had like a group achievement where the entire community had to kill so many million zombies within a week, and then you would all get the achievement. That died. That was like 3 games did that, and it died. So yeah, it feels like another one of those things that, and on paper, is an interesting idea, but there won't be enough appetite to implement it widespread. It won't become the new a capture button or anything like that. Let's speak. So yeah, a big. That's
actually a good point. Andy, I'd like your thoughts on this as well. Is the capture button on the controller the last good thing that was added to games consoles that people still use? Because when that came in the PS4, that was that could have easily been a novelty, but everyone still uses it, and it's become like a key part of consoles now, in my opinion.
I think you're probably right, because the most useless thing on the PlayStation controller is the touchpad.
Yeah,
right?
touchpad by a mile. Yeah.
Hold on a minute here. Here we
go.
I'm not having this rewriting of history. I need to double check it. I thought On Live was the first thing to have a capture button. You're attributing it to PS4. You're attributing it to PS4 here.
If you look at Mad Cat's spin-off,
I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
To be clear, I wasn't saying that in a thank you. Thank you, Sony. That was just a remember, because that's when it came to the mainstream. Because no one on the history of the earth remembers what On Live was, apart from the absolute spods and geeks and spotty nerds.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it's the future. It's like garlic bread. I think people are getting really wound up about stuff like this when it doesn't really matter. Also, to quote that legendary post on Twitter, you control the buttons you press. If you wouldn't want to use something like this, you don't have to.
Can I make a point? This is the biggest scandal Xbox has done this entire generation, and that's saying something.
They're about to fire 20,000 people, so I would maybe couch
that. It's up there. It's up there. It's almost as bad. The £169.99 Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2, of which I purchased one like a fool and using the Design Labs, does not have a capture button.
That's bullshit.
No capture button. No capture button.
Why?
You can assign capture to one of the wee trigger things, but it doesn't work the same way. You can't press it. You can't tap it to take a screenshot and hold it to take a video. It doesn't work like that. So it's basically, it doesn't have a capture button, and
that probably
so I don't use it. I don't use it.
2 cents. 2 cents, and they're like, that's too much. Sorry, it's over budget to do a capture button.
Where the capture button is instead a button for switching profiles in the controller. Like light that lights up your controller with different profiles.
You use that all the time.
I know. I'm my split personality disorder makes it great for me. Like for the 4 different people I play games as.
Lord. Right, we're going to get to our yes or no game in a minute, but quick news and brief. Witcher 3 is reportedly getting a surprise new expansion next year. And this year. It's now 2026. Check your calendars. And South Park comes to Fortnite today. Chris, you going on down to South Park? And also, how do you feel about this just being a wee section of the map rather than a full Simpsons job?
That's a bit of a shame, but at the same time, I'll take it. It seems it's clear that Fortnite is now at the point that everyone's throwing their IP at it, and they don't have enough like days in the year to assign like full seasons to this stuff. No, I'm up for it. The trailer for it is really funny. The trailer was clearly made by the South Park people, so it's just like the Simpsons stuff was. So looks like they've nailed the tone, and it looks putting them in mechs is the only way you can kind of do it. They did that with some of the Simpsons as well. It looks really funny. So no, I'll be rinsing that thoroughly, getting them bought.
Excellent. Your DICE Award nominees for the Game of the Year are Arc Raiders, Blue Prince, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Dispatch, and Ghost of Yoti. Probably unsurprisingly, Clair Obscur tops the list with 8 nominations alongside Ghost of Yoti, followed by Arc Raiders, Dispatch, Blue Prince, and Death Stranding 2 on the beach. The nominees for the DICE Awards are determined by AIAS's peer panel, which it says is comprised of games the industry's quote most experienced and talented experts in their chosen field. That's why I was consulted. Winners will be determined by confidential voting among the Academy's more than 30,000 members. Now, boys, this is important. People have waited a year for this. You will remember that on the January 3rd, 2025 episode of this very podcast, in my yes or no segment, I asked you a series of questions and asked you to say yes or no based on what you thought would happen in the year 2025. We have the results. Question number 1. GTA 6 will be released in 2025. Andy said no, 1 point. Chris said, yes, quote, yes, absolutely. It would be the ultimate embarrassment if they didn't do it.
Okay,
the answer,
well,
GTA 6 was not released in 2025.
Thereby ultimately embarrassing Rockstar.
Question number 2 was GTA 6 will be the highest rated game on Metacritic in 2025. Both of you said no, that's a point each. Chris said there will be some pish. I assume you meant Expedition 33. And Andy said there is a new Nintendo console coming out this year. Next question. Sony or Microsoft formally announced a handheld. I'm talking name. I'm talking we see it. Both of you said yes. Chris actually clarified that he thought Microsoft was going to put its name on a handheld made by someone else.
Soothsayer.
Bang on. Oh, just to update, the Discord was 81% no on GTA 5, and for this they were 62% yes. So correct again. Next question. Nintendo Switch 2 sells more in its first year than Nintendo Switch. Everyone said yes. It says here will not be answered financially until sometime after June 2026. But you know what? I'm going to give you it. This was the next question. Switch 2 will have a second screen of some sort. Andy said yes. Chris said no, but there will be some sort of weird gimmick that doesn't get used much. The Discord was 77% no on this. Kron, who put this together, argues here that says, I'm sure Andy will debate this. Is game share a second screen? Any thoughts, Andy? Are you accepting that it does not have a second screen? Okay, well, there you go. Next one was Phil Spencer.
I'm still not ruling out them releasing an accessory.
Yeah, the Virtual Boy.
Phil Spencer retires from Microsoft. Andy said yes. Chris said no. The Discord went 55% no. Fable is released in 2025. Andy said yes. Chris said no. Discord 77% said no. Final standings. Andy got 3 correct and Chris got 5 correct. Congratulations, Chris Scullion. The bonus quote from the Switch 2 conversation for Jordan, for the sake of content, I hope you really struggle to get a Switch 2 at launch. Chris, thanks very much. Since Andy and Chris both said yes to the Switch 2 outselling the Switch 1 in the first year, and Chris is 2 points ahead, he wins. But sack all that. This is this year's yes or no game. So Kron, get this noted down. Get it in your diary here. Andy and Chris, start with you, Andy. Yes or no? GTA 6 is released in 2026.
No.
Chris Scullion?
Yes, it would be the ultimate embarrassment if they didn't.
I agree. Andy, GTA 6 will be the highest rated game of the year according to Metacritic.
Yes.
There'll be some pish.
How have you guys not clocked on that I've said it's not coming out? No,
there'll be some other pish. Again.
Next question.
Expedition 34.
This is for 2 points. I need a yes on the first part and a yes or no on the first part and a yes or no on the second part. Sony will announce and release a handheld. Andy?
No.
No and no? Okay.
No
they don't announce it, they just release it.
They release it without announcing it.
Like the PSVR 2. Chris?
Yes and no. They'll announce it, but it won't come out this year. They'll announce it at the end of this year. And it won't come out this year. But what are you counting announcement? Are you counting like the name of it and everything, or are you counting just a confirmation that we are working on a handheld and nothing else? Because they could say, by the way,
a quote in an interview saying, "Oh, we're working on a handheld," doesn't count for me. It has to be like a
Mark Cerny video going, "We're working on a handheld."
We're working on a hand. Jim comes back.
Oh, hi, Jim. Okay, we'll do that again.
We will, if it breaks into a story on VGC saying we've announced the PlayStation Portable, for example. Next question.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay. Sony will announce that all games are coming to PC day and date. This includes single player titles. Andy?
No.
Chris?
No. No chance.
Next question. Pokemon will re-release old RPGs, specifically red or blue or green or yellow or gold or silver or ruby or sapphire or emerald, not necessarily on the Nintendo Switch Online. Andy?
So what? Any one of those 10 games?
Any of the old RPGs specifically?
So if they release one of them?
Yes.
That counts. So yes.
Chris?
Yep. Yes.
And finally, as of January 9th, 2026, which is today, VGC's Game of the Year 2026 will be a game that has currently been announced, as in it won't be an Astro situation where it was announced in June and then became Game of the Year. Andy, yes or no?
No.
Chris?
No. Because
You two banged on Mario?
I do. Yeah, pretty much. I do think GTA will come out, but I don't think.
Do you know what? Actually, can I change mine?
Yeah.
Oh, can you go?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He's excited for Hellraiser. I'm going to say no.
Okay. Well, put up your yes or no, and also we'll put it in the Discord so you can play along at home. For the record, I'm not gonna compete, but I'll say yes, GTA 2026, no highest rated, yes and no handheld and release, no Sony PC games, no on old RPGs from Pokemon, and yes, it will be a game that's currently announced. That's just about it, folks. Andy, what you up to this weekend?
Probably working and ignoring football.
Yeah. I don't blame you whatsoever. Chris, we're going to the grappling. We're going to the world of sport. You looking forward to it?
We're finally going to grapple in the dust. I'm looking forward to the return of old Charles Montgomery Punk to Glasgow, which will be good. So a bit of the wrestling book, obviously.
Take a shot.
Reviewing this next playground thing, and then trying to kind of finally get my last recuperation in before I start back again on Monday. So all good.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. The last time I saw CM Punk wrestle, I believe he fought Ryback, maybe. In that era of house show. I know there was a time where him, Bryan Danielson, and Kane were fighting the Shield on loops, and I don't know if I went to that house show. I can't quite remember, but I'm looking forward to it. It's crazy to me that they do house shows at the Hydro, which is like which is like their pay-per-view arena, but the wrestling's hot at the moment. And
Andy, what's your take on the Ryback era of wrestling?
Yeah, what do you think about the Ryback era wrestling?
Overrated.
Agree.
He's right, you know.
I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok, Chris, but have you seen that Ryback comments on every single wrestling TikTok that is ever posted, and he just says, "Hungry, feed me more," and everyone is responding to him being like, "Just fucking pack it in, mate."
Ryback, more like Weesax.
He was terrible. I hated Ryback. He's dumb as fuck. And then obviously the patron saint of Glasgow, Martin O'Neill, returns to Celtic on Saturday. Because in the time since you've been on the podcast, Chris, a third of Wilfred Nancy's reign has come to an end. The Le Transition, RIP. Andy, you still got Nuno? Is Nuno still kicking a ball, or is he fucked off yet?
He's still there, because what we like to do at West Ham is spend 100 million quid on players before we fire the manager. So we just get him in a load of players who will be unsuitable for the next manager, who we pick off from the job centre.
Stephen Mulhern. It's going to be a fun old weekend of football, grappling, and more. I'm not really playing anything at the minute. I'm still knocking around with Hades. Every day I pray I get an email saying Recoin's here, but it's yet to happen. So that'll be us for this week. Keep an eye out next week on patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. As we mentioned, VGC's Guide to Japan is going to be going up there. There's also lots of stuff from over the Christmas period, and we've got a few more bits from our Christmas drive yet to come out that we will try to get up as soon as possible. Obviously, thank you for all your support. It's been a transformative month over on patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle, and any additional support you can provide is greatly appreciated. It's the reason that Chris is actually spending 6 months in exile in Argentina later this year to investigate the indie games scene over there in Rosario. So
we're going to get him a controversial number plate.
So hopefully he'll head over there and have a good old time. Until next time, say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Chris.
Say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye.
We'll see you next time.
Oh, that's perfectly timed.
What timing?
Finally letting it out. Ah! It's been holding that in for a full hour.
The dog's been sat there, jaws agape, like ready to go. Ah! See you later, folks.